Welcome back to Metropole Debrief, and thank you for staying with Metropole TV. Time now for Social Watch, where my mic goes off and your voice comes on. It would be very interesting to loop you into this conversation, because this is a conversation that really matters to you, and this is a topic that is at the core of the people, because we all know our government is for the people and by the people. And we just wanted to know what you think about the topic that we are discussing today, the state of Nairobi County. Whether you live in Nairobi or not, when this county deteriorates, it affects your bottom line. When it grows, it equally affects your bottom line, but in the positive. So we went on our social media platforms and we posed a question to you, and we wanted to know what your thoughts are. Let's cross over to our opinion poll. And Edward, this is the question we asked Kenyans. We asked them, should Nairobi County be dissolved following the chaos that have hit the county, and also because there are different schools of thoughts that are saying maybe we could go the cosmopolitan way. Now, 20% said no, 80% say yes. Looks like Kenyans are in agreement with you. So your thoughts, do you think that Kenyans have gotten to a place, and even Nairobians have gotten to a place where they don't care who is in charge, they just want good services?
Absolutely. I mean, from whichever angle you look at it, I mean, if there's no service delivery that is efficient, then people will always want a system to be dissolved. Something that people must be proud of. By observational research, you're able to see that services are being done, that water, there's health, there's good infrastructure, and generally there's just efficiency. I think that's what people want to see. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
And if I ask you, maybe, what do you think would be the top 3 priorities of people living in Nairobi? Just do these 3 things for us and we'll be okay.
Basics. Give them water, give them good infrastructure, and let the system be efficient, including health. Mm-hmm. Those are the 3 things.
Okay. Now, let's cross over to Twitter and see what some of you had to say with regards to some of the topics that have been trending in relation to Nairobi County. At G. Kangi says, I once asked a matatu driver to dispose of his plastic bottle in a bin, but his response was, tusipochafua town, si hawa watu hufagia wataachishwa job. Wacha nitupe hii chupa ndio wakue na job. Wewe unataka wafutwe kazi? Then we wonder why Nairobi is flooded. I think this goes beyond the fact that we might have the best urban planning, but if you're not responsible citizens, then we are not doing our county any good.
Yeah, I mean, we need a culture that is very progressive. I think this thing of environmental conservation, ecosystem conservation, basically is something that starts from a very small age. And so long as we don't have a culture of responsibility, as you're saying, then it becomes impossible for us to be able to maintain.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at another tweet. Okay. So at MK John 254 says, who should we blame? 1, Nairobi governor. 2, road constructors. 3, Kenha. 4, CS transport. 5, Uhuruta government. 6, Nimvua ilikuwa mingi. It happens. Who should we blame?
I think it's a holistic thing. I mean, it's not just one single entity, but basically it's a whole group of people that need to be blamed for what is happening. Mm-hmm. But obviously, when you speak about county leadership, I mean, the blame comes to the person who's been mandated or who's been given the responsibility to run the county. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's take a look at another reaction with regards to the floods that we've been seeing in Nairobi currently. If it rains probably today in the evening, you might also not be able to get home. And Bing Charlie says, a little rain and the CBD down roads look like the surface of the moon. This city government is unable to deliver quality services and failing miserably on quality infrastructure, hashtag Nairobi roads.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, in fact, if you look at the rain in most other parts of the world, it's even more than here. Take any country in Europe, it rains almost every day. Mm-hmm. But the infrastructure has been standardized. So I think we have a problem of you know, having superior infrastructure and giving our infrastructure to bad contractors who then, when these things happen, nature happens, then we always end up losing the bad work that was done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at another. At Samuel Mulinge says, with all this rain, why is water still being rationed? The city is flooded, reservoirs probably full, and the taps are running drier than the Aktama desert. Hashtag Nairobi rains, hashtag Nairobi floods. Consolidating our tragedies. Right now it's raining in Nairobi, it's flooding. Fast forward to January, there'll be a bad drought, and even as it seems, taps are dry right now as it is raining.
And that is why it's very important for us to have comparative studies, like what you talked about earlier. Should we be able to benchmark ourselves against some of those countries, like, for example, Israel doesn't receive rainfall. So what happens when it rains? How do they conserve water? We should be able to be serious about this thing.
But they've done benchmark trips before. Kigali has banned Kenyans from going for benchmark trips because it's just benchmarks, no work is being done.
But I mean, it's true that a lot of our government officials go and benchmark and they don't come and implement. And I tell you, one of the reasons, there are some of them who are extremely determined to implement, but when there are no resources really, you cannot implement anything. Look at what happened in Eldoret with Kimwarar Dam. That is a big dam that would be able to bring storage of water and bring sustainability for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Something very simple, water storage, making sure that infrastructure system is in order so that people don't have this kind of discussions.
Let's take a look at another. This was by Samuel Mulinge. We've just looked at John Mitambo one says, the drama and the theatrics now. This is with regards to Governor Sonko's arrest and just the state of disarray in terms of leadership that Nairobi County is currently in. The drama and theatrics surrounding Governor Sonko's arrest speaks volume. DPP and DCI are doing a good job despite challenges. The war on graft should target all without favor. The big corruption running into billions are within the ministries. We need to see the same efforts applied. So when we are cleaning system, let's clean the whole system in a holistic way.
Yeah, I mean, the issue of selective justice should never be that there are people who are being taken to court and there are other people who have been mentioned, especially who surround the executive or other places, not judiciary, who are nothing is being done. So it should never be selective justice. It should be holistic justice so that we can be able to put this thing under the table once and for all. Okay.
Let's take a look at another still reactions of Nairobi following the arrest of Governor Mike Sonko and him being arraigned in court over charges of conflict of interest. Robert _Moka says, an arrest is an arrest. Those demanding to be arrested honorably is total okay. All of us are citizens under the same law. No special conditions attached. At ODPP_Kenya, at NPS official_Kenya. Continue performing your roles diligently and independently. We saw Honorable Sakaja coming out and saying we need to arrest Governor Sonko in a dignified manner. Some have called it a witch hunt, but this speaks volume about our leadership and even what we perceive our politics to be. It looks like we've idolized the politicians and we've lost faith in the system and rather the office. How do we draw that line so that Nairobians know that Governor Mike Sonko, or Governor Sospita Ojamong, or Governor Anyang' Nyong'o is just a custodian of the office, and it's the office that holds the supreme power and not the custodian of the office?
Yeah, I mean, let nobody be protected by anybody. There's no one who's above the law. That is common saying. So let the law be seen to be done, or justice should be seen to be done. Let the judicial system become effective. Once it's effective, then everything becomes in order.
Right now, we are talking about, as we wind up, we're talking about Africa Agenda 2063. We're looking at Vision 2030, and smaller cities are coming up and are coming up really well and competitively.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that Nairobi needs to do to align itself to 2030 and 2063 and reclaim its regional and continental glory as the investment hub of the continent?
Look at what Kigali is doing. What are they doing is what Nairobi needs to do. We need to put systems in place, not just talk about systems, but we need also to be able to be competitive as a city. You know, I feel so bad, especially if you look at conference tourism going to neighboring countries like Addis Ababa and Kigali. Why? Because there's efficiency. We need to get rid of all these inefficiencies that exist, especially in the infrastructure, especially in security, and so on and so forth. Again, the cost of doing business. They're saying that the ease of doing business has come down, but there's another aspect called the cost of doing business, and that cost must be seen to come down.
Thank you very much, Edward, for making time. And probably 2022, 2030, inshallah, we shall call you back and discuss the scorecard and the progress report of Nairobi, whether it shall remain a county or cosmopolitan, and we shall compare and contrast some of the results we will have gotten so far.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for making time. Now, guys, we are almost coming to a close of this show. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. Thank you for tweeting. Thank you for texting. And thank you for just being a part of the Metropole Debrief community since the inception of the show to date, as we almost come to a close of the year. But again, as usual, we must tell each other the truth. Look, if you go to Kisumu County, you just land and drive out of the airport, cross anywhere in that city, the level of cleanliness of that city is sparkling. And if you think that it's just sheer talk, then you might be mistaken, because a city like Kigali has built its reputation from being a clean city, and investors are going there because cleanliness shows that probably there's good drainage, there's good sanitation, there's water, there's electricity, and systems are functioning. It begins from the very basics in any community. How clean is your city? Walk around you, and the next time you want to throw that garbage, think twice. You might be choking your own economic development by throwing that paper in the street. Ondiro Ganga, I'll see you when I see you.